Have you ever felt like the older you get, the more your attention gets pulled in every direction, except toward your own peace? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I spent so many years living for duties and expectations. When do I get to live for what is true? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about focusing on your own life in old age. Not as selfishness, not as isolation, and not as giving up on people you love. We are talking about the kind of focus that Buddhist wisdom has always encouraged. The focus that reduces suffering, clarifies the mind, and turns the later years into a chapter of real practice in quiet freedom. Because here is something many people discover late, and it can feel both painful and liberating. You can spend a lifetime reacting to other people's needs, other people's opinion, other people's moods, other people's crises, other people's expectations, and still feel empty inside. Then one day you wake up and realize you do not want more noise. You want alignment. You want a mind that feels like it belongs to you again. Focusing on your life in old age begins with a simple recognition. Your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your days go. Where your days go, your life goes. And if your attention is constantly borrowed by fear, guilt, resentment, comparison, and endless caretaking, then your life becomes a scattered room. Buddhism teaches you how to gather yourself back. I want to start with a story, because most people do not change their focus because they heard a good idea. They change because something inside them finally says. Imagine someone named Helen. She is 70. She has been responsible her whole life. She raised children. She worked. She cared for aging parents. She held families together. People call her strong. She is the one others rely on. But lately she notices a strange emptiness. Not a dramatic despair, but a quiet sense that she is not living her own life. Her body has slowed. Her energy has a smaller budget. Her patience has thinner edges. And yet the demands keep arriving. Calls, messages, problems, opinions, requests, guilt. Helen begins waking at night with her mind running. She is not only worried about herself, she is worried about everyone. Adult children, grandchildren, friends, health issues, money issues, world news. She feels like she is carrying the whole world in her chest. She tries to be grateful. She tries to be positive. But the deeper truth is that she is exhausted from living as a nervous system for other people. One afternoon Helen sits in her car after a grocery trip in. She does not start the engine. She just sits there. Tears come unexpectedly. She is not sure why she is crying. Then she realizes the thought underneath the tears. I do not know who I am when nobody needs me. That moment becomes her turning point. She starts exploring Buddhist teachings. Not to become someone else, but to remember herself. And slowly she learns 8 lessons that change how she uses her attention, how she treats her mind, how she relates to other people, how she cares for her body, and how she faces time. These lessons are not slogans. They are practices. And when you practice them, you begin focusing on your own life in a way that does not haunt the heart. It softens it. It makes love cleaner and less resentful. It makes boundaries kinder and more honest. It makes the later years less about performing and more about awakening. Lesson 1 is to understand that your attention is sacred and it must be protected. Buddhism teaches right effort and mindfulness. Right effort is not pushing. It is using energy skillfully. Old age teaches you quickly that energy is limited. If you spend your attention on endless noise, you will feel drained even when you did nothing physically demanding. You will feel tired because the mind has been sprinting. Helen realized she was giving her attention away the way someone gives away money without checking their account. She would read stressful news for hours, then wonder why she felt anxious. She would scroll through arguments, then wonder why her chest felt tight. She would replay old regrets, then wonder why she felt heavy. She would worry about other people's choices, then wonder why she felt powerless. She began practicing a new rule, gentle but firm. My attention is not free. This did not mean she stopped caring. It meant she stopped letting every input enter her mind unchecked. She reduced the noise she consumed. She chose quieter media. She limited conversations that were only complaint loops. She stopped joining every argument. She stopped chasing every rumor. She began choosing calm on purpose. This is a Buddhist lesson because guarding attention is guarding the mind. And the mind is the place where suffering is created or reduced. Lesson 2 is to stop outsourcing your worth to other people's approval. Many people cannot focus on their own life because they are addicted to being needed in light. They may not call it addiction. They call it being helpful, being responsible, being a good parent, being a good friend. But underneath can be a fear. If I am not useful, I will not be loved. Buddhism teaches non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean you do not love. It means you do not cling to external validation as the source of your identity. Helen noticed she felt guilty when she said no. She felt anxious when someone was disappointed. She felt restless when she was not busy. She realized her business was not always love. Sometimes it was a strategy to avoid feeling unworthy. So she practiced something brave. She disappointed people gently, not in a cruel way, in a clear way. She let someone be unhappy without rushing to fix it. She let someone handle their own problem without rescuing. She watched her guilt rise like a wave. She breathed and allowed it. She saw that guilt was a habit, not a truth. Over time, her nervous system changed. She learned that being loved does not require constant self-abandonment. And when she stopped chasing approval, she had more attention for her own life, her health, her peace, her practice. Lesson 3 is to treat your body as a teacher, not as an enemy. In old age, the body becomes more honest. It speaks sooner. It demands rest. It demands gentleness. Many people respond by fighting it, criticizing it, comparing it to youth, feeling shame. Buddhism teaches impermanence. Everything conditioned changes. The body is conditioned. Aging is not personal failure. It is the nature of form. Focusing on your own life means listening to your body instead of ignoring it for the sake of keeping up. Helen began noticing how she used to push through tiredness to meet others' expectations. She would skip rest to attend events she did not enjoy. She would eat quickly and poorly because she was always taking care of someone else. She would tense her shoulders all day and then wonder why she had headaches. So she practiced respectful care. She walked daily, gently, not as punishment, as presence. She stretched lightly. She drank water. She slept earlier. She scheduled medical checkups without denial. She began speaking kindly to her body, not fake positivity, just respect. Thank you for carrying me. Thank you for breathing. Thank you for letting me see. This changed her energy. The body did not become young again, but the relationship became peaceful. And a peaceful relationship with your body is a powerful foundation for focusing on your life. Lesson 4 is to simplify your commitments so your mind can breathe. Aging is not only a physical change, it is a change in capacity. When you keep the same number of obligations as before, your mind becomes overloaded. Overload creates irritability. It creates resentment. It creates sadness. Then people say old age made me bitter. Often it was not old age. It was overcommitment. Buddhism teaches the middle way. Not extremes. Not constant indulgence. Not constant sacrifice. Wise balance. Helen started looking at her week like a person managing a limited budget. Where is my attention going? Where is my energy going? What drains me without giving back? What gives back quietly? She began dropping some things. She stopped attending gatherings that left her exhausted and unseen. She stopped volunteering in ways that felt like obligation rather than joy. She stopped being the automatic organizer. She began letting others take responsibility. At first she feared being judged. Then she felt relief. She realized that many of her obligations were not truly required. They were habits built from fear of disappointing people. When she simplified, her inner life became more spacious, and in that space, she could finally hear her own needs. Lesson 5 is to practice mindfulness so you stop living in mental time travel. Many older people cannot focus on their own life because their mind is rarely in the present. It is in the past, replaying regret. It is in the future, rehearsing fear. It is in imaginary conversations. It is in comparison. The body is sitting, but the mind is sprinting. Buddhism offers mindfulness, the practice of knowing what is happening while it is happening, not as a performance, as a return. Helen began practicing a simple daily anchor. Several times a day, she would pause and feel her feet on the floor. She would take one slow breath with a longer exhale. She would soften her jaw. She would notice her shoulders. She would ask, "Where is my attention right now?" Then she would gently bring it back. She did this while washing dishes, while waiting in line, while hearing someone complain, while reading a message that triggered anxiety. Return, return, return. This practice did not make life perfect. It gave her life back, because it put her attention back into what was real. Lesson 6 is to release resentment because resentment steals the later years more than any wrinkle ever will. Many people enter old age carrying old anger. Anger toward family, toward partners, toward friends, toward themselves. Anger can feel justified, but the body pays the price. The nervous system stays tight. The mind stays stuck. The heart stays guarded. Buddhism teaches that clinging creates suffering. Resentment is clinging to pain. Forgiveness is not pretending nothing happened. Forgiveness is releasing the poison. Helen realized she still carried resentment toward a sibling who never helped with their parents. She carried resentment toward a friend who disappeared during a hard time. She carried resentment toward herself for choices she made under stress. These resentments lived quietly, but they drained her. So she began a forgiveness practice, slow and honest. She did not force a dramatic emotional shift. She simply said, "I do not want to carry this anymore." I released the grip, little by little. Sometimes she wrote and sent letters. Sometimes she spoke directly. Sometimes she simply practiced compassion in her own mind, understanding that people act from ignorance and fear. This did not excuse harm. It loosened the chain. As resentment softened, her mind became lighter. Her attention returned to her own life, because she was no longer constantly feeding the past. Lesson 7 is to cultivate loving kindness, so your focus becomes warm, not self-absorbed. Some people fear that focusing on yourself will make you selfish. Buddhism solves this by pairing mindfulness with compassion. You focus on your own mind and heart not to become cold, but to become clear. Clarity allows kindness without resentment. Loving kindness practice trains the mind to wish well-being. First for yourself, then for others. It is not a mood. It is a skill. Helen began a simple loving kindness phrase each morning. May I be safe. May I be at ease. May I be free from unnecessary suffering. Then she extended it. May others be safe. May others be at ease. She did not always feel it deeply. She practiced anyway. This changed her tone. She spoke more gently. She listened more patiently. She stopped reacting as sharply. Her focus on her own life did not shrink her love. It purified it. Lesson 8 is to make peace with impermanence and mortality, so you stop postponing the life you want to live. This is the deepest lesson. Many people cannot focus on their own life because they are postponing peace. They think peace will come when the family calms down, when money is stable, when health is perfect, when the world improves, when someone finally understands them. But conditions keep changing. If you postpone peace, you may never arrive. Buddhism teaches impermanence. Everything changes. It also teaches mindful awareness of death, not to frighten you, to awaken you. When you remember time is limited, you stop wasting it on trivial battles. You stop carrying unnecessary burden. You stop living for approval. You focus on what matters. Helen began a gentle daily reflection. This life is uncertain. This body changes. Therefore, I will live today with kindness. I will not postpone love. This reflection did not make her anxious. It made her clear. She started calling people she loved more often. She apologized faster. She forgave sooner. She walked outside more. She enjoyed simple moments without gripping. She stopped telling herself she was too late. Now, I want to weave these 8 lessons into one lived day. Because focusing on your life in old age is not a concept. It is a rhythm. Imagine you wake up and instead of immediately checking your phone, you take 3 slow breaths. You feel your body. You soften. You decide your attention will be protected today. You eat something simple without flooding your mind with noise. You take a gentle walk and feel your steps. You say no to one unnecessary obligation. You respond to a request with clarity instead of guilt. You catch one resentment story and release it for 1 minute. You practice one moment of loving kindness. You return to breath when the mind tries to run. You remember impermanence and choose meaning over proving. This day is not dramatic, yet it is powerful. Because this is how a peaceful chapter is built, by small returns repeated. Helen noticed that after months of living this way, she felt different. The problems did not vanish, but her baseline changed. She was less reactive. She was less anxious. She felt more ownership of her time. She felt more dignity. Her relationships improved because she stopped giving from exhaustion and started giving from steadiness. She stopped trying to control everything and started practicing what she could control. Her attention, her speech, her choices, her compassion. One evening she sat again in her car after a grocery trip, the same place where she had cried months earlier. This time she sat and felt quiet gratitude. She realized she still had responsibilities, but she was no longer lost inside them. She had begun living her own life again. That is the promise of these lessons. Not that old age becomes easy, but that it becomes honest, steady, and deeply meaningful. Now I want to speak to you directly for a moment. If you have spent years living for others, you may feel guilt when you start focusing on yourself. That guilt is a habit. It is not a law. You can train your mind to see that caring for yourself is not betrayal. It is wisdom. A calm mind is a gift to everyone around you. A resentful, exhausted mind is painful for everyone. Start small. 1 boundary, 1 breath, 1 walk, 1 hour of reduced stimulation, 1 forgiveness practice, 1 kind sentence to yourself, 1 moment of choosing what matters. Because the later years can become your most peaceful chapter, not by luck, but by practice. Before we end, I want to ask you something. Where does your attention leak the most right now? Fear, guilt, resentment, comparison, or over-responsibility? And what is one small step you can take today to bring that attention back home? Share your thoughts in the comments if you want to. Your story may help someone else feel less alone as they learn to focus on their own life again. If this video helped you, please support the channel by subscribing, liking, and commenting. It helps more people find calm wisdom when they need it most. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take 1 slow breath right now. Feel your body supported. Let the shoulders soften. Let the jaw relax. And remember, focusing on your life in old age is not selfish. It is a return. A return to awareness, to compassion, to wisdom, and to the quiet dignity of living from the inside out. Until next time, be gentle, be steady, and keep coming home to what matters.